Ever wonder how to create this scoreboard for your golf content? That is by far the single most asked question in all of my golf content from TikTok to Instagram. How to create this scoreboard. So today, I'm breaking it all down. And I'm giving you a free template that you can download so you can create your own designs for your golf videos. The scoreboard helps the viewer track your progression throughout the hole. And these videos that we play 18 holes of golf, they range from 40 minutes to over an hour, easy. And this scoreboard helps the viewer keep track of where you're at. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I create my scoreboard in Canva. I use the paid version and I pay annually. Plus, I've made a basic template based off my design that you can customize from the font changes to the colors, however you wanna do it. I'm basically laying the foundation to get you guys started, and then if you wanna edit that out, you can. So whether you're making golf content like me or any other sport content that you need a scoreboard for, this video tutorial is just for you. So when you first click the link, it's gonna take you to a screen that's gonna have this image right here. It's gonna look like this. Now, if you don't have Canva, you can't edit this. So if you wanna do this, I highly recommend download Canva and create a profile first so you can edit this. So once you're at that point, this is the basic template, how it looks like for you. Now you can go in here and change basically anything you want. I put the number here, so for example, if it's me, if it's hole 1, how I normally do the holes, like you see in the videos, I put first, like it's first hole, second hole, I put second, third, fourth, and so on, all the way to 18. But this gives you the whole number, the yardage of each hole. Now, how I get the yardage, I get it when I'm back and post, when I'm editing the full video, which I'll break that down in Final Cut Pro here in a second. But if you don't have Final Cut Pro, you can use whatever editing software you have. iMovie, Premiere Pro, CapCut, all this works the same. I use the yardage every single shot. I notice a lot of other golf creators don't do that. They'll just put the hole, like if the hole is 400 yards, first hole is 400 yards long, let's say, well, this is a par 3, so let's say it's 150 yard par 3, they'll do this, and they'll leave the 150 yards there every single shot, like when it's hole shot 1, 2, or 3. I don't like doing that. And how I keep track of it is when I'm recording out there in the golf course and I'm recording, I'll say into the mic, when I have the mics on my camera, I'll say the yardage is 160 yards or 150 yards. Because I can always edit that part out when I'm editing, and I'll just put in that number in here once I know the exact yardage. Now, this is hole 1, I have here first shot, second shot, for birdie on a par 3. And then third shot is for par. Now, on all these links, I've only went to par. So if it's a par 4, you have 4 of these. If it's a par 5, you have 5, and so on and so forth. You can add more if you want to. If you're bogey or double bogey, which hopefully you're not, but if you do have the bogeys and doubles and you want to add that score, this is all you have to do. Go up here, if this is a par 3, let's say, and you made like a double bogey, you hit this icon, duplicate page, once, it'll duplicate that one, and hit it again. And then you go back up to the bogey one and you put here, for bogey or however you want to design it. Remember, at the end of the day, this is your design. You get to pick and choose the color, the font, how the layouts you want. You decide that. I'm only giving you the structured box that I've come to realize that fits good in all the videos, from horizontal for YouTube like this, or vertical. This horizontal box, and I'll show you how I do it in the editing software. I've come to find out looks the best for me. But at the end of the day, really, this is all up to you how you want to edit this. Now, when you're editing the scoreboard, let's say you want to change the color, the blue, up here, you can add different colors, whatever you want, but look at that. Just remember, I highly recommend use darker colors because the text is going to be white. So like if you try this kind of color, you see how it kind of looks funny, the white. Now, obviously you can switch it around where now I want the numbers to be dark. Canva allows you to play with all that. Come up here, you can change it to, so you can toy with it all you want to. At the end of the day, this is the basic layout, how I like it. To edit the text, you just double click them. So click once, double click. Once you see the text highlighted, then you can go and make changes. If you think the lettering is too big, you can come up here. This is adjust the font size. You can make it smaller. You can make it bigger. Now, the background of the name, this dark part, is attached to the name. So let's say you make it, if I only put, let's say my first name, I put my first and last name, but let's say my name is like real small, or your name is short like that, or long, vice versa. The background will adjust to the name for you. Now you just gotta decide if you wanna shorten it like that or keep it long. So now that you've got your basic template laid out, there's no need to change the position of the box anywhere because it's already positioned it to the center. So when we export it, it looks a lot cleaner in your editing software. So once you're done with everything, you like the way it looks, you come up here to the top left where it says par 3. I always change this and add like hole 1 or whatever hole I'm actually editing on, because you're gonna see when it creates the folders together, it's easier to organize when you're in the editing software. So to export this, let's say we're gonna export, it's a par 3, let's say we made a par, and all this is already done, how it looks, and you have more templates, but let's say you don't wanna use these. You only wanna use pages 1 through 3, because those are the ones you edited and that you like. You hit share, and you hit download. Don't touch anything on the size. You're gonna hit transparent background. Click that, and then hit select pages, and you're gonna deselect all, and you're only gonna select the ones that you want. And we know we want page 1, 2, and 3. So then we hit done, and then we hit download. Once it downloads, it's gonna go to your downloads file. What I do is I leave it in the downloads file until I'm done. Well, once that's done, I'll come in here and put hole 2, and then I'll start working if it's a par 3. If it's a par 4, then I can go back to the template that I have and just download the par 4. Or if you just wanna keep working the same one, just add the pages like we did earlier. Just come down here, let's say delete this one, we don't want it, delete this. You can just come here, click duplicate page, because it's a par 4 now. And then now you gotta come in here and change, put second hole, put second here, change the yardage for the first shot. And then, the name, it's gonna be already there from the first time you did it. And then the score, if you bogeyed the first hole and now you're on the second hole, double click this and add, +1, or however you wanna do it. When I'm over par, I leave it black. When I'm under par, let's say I birdied the first hole and we're on hole 2, and I'm 1 under now, I like to highlight the background of it red. So it stands out, it says, yo man, I'm under par right now. It's up to you if you wanna do that. I enjoy it because the pros on TV, they have it like that, and I kinda like the way it looks, and because it pops. So what I do is I click here at the top left, click it, and there's already a red there. If it's not there, just look up the code FF40, and I click it, and then boom, now it highlights red. But remember, we're on another hole, so you gotta copy the next ones. Page 2 is not gonna have that. Page 2 is still gonna have even par, hole 1, all the first holes. So you gotta go here and edit it. And it could be time consuming if you keep doing this after a while, but I highly recommend put in the time and effort, because you see at the end of the round, it looks nice. So once they're downloaded from Canva, they're gonna look like this. They're gonna have folders labeled whatever you labeled it. You double click it, and these are what they look like. They're PNG files that only have the logo and the transparent background, which is what you need for your videos. So what I do is I go ahead in Canva and just knock them all out, the best I can. Sometimes they'll have numbers at the end of the hole, like this one, hole 13-2. Don't worry about that. Just keep going. Just double check when you download them that they have the transparent background. Sometimes if you forget to click that button, over here in Canva, if you forget to click the button on the download, once you hit download, this part right here, transparent background, if you forget to click it, it's gonna have a white background and it's gonna look nasty. You don't want that. Now let's get into my editing software, how I get them from my desktop to the editing software and overlay it to my footage. What I do is I come up here to my import and I go look for where it's at, and it's in the folder, the leaderboard folder, whole leaderboard. And they're all gonna be in folders like this. So what I do is I just open them all up and then bring them all into Final Cut. Highlight, enter, and it basically downloads them all into Final Cut. I'm not gonna do them all, but you get the idea. It's gonna look like this. If you edit it all in the same day, then it's gonna look like this. 1, and then 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. So it's gonna be like that because Final Cut organizes it numberly like that. So let's say I took in some of my footage. Let's say these 2 shots right here. I'll bring them in the timeline. And how basically my workflow, I don't touch the scoreboard until my whole editing is done. Everything that I've edited, I've cut down, I've already told the story within the video, all that's done. Because I already know how the holes are gonna play out in my edit. Because if you already made those cuts, you already made all that. But right now, for example, I'm only doing these first 2 shots. And this is for YouTube. I always edit for YouTube first. In the video, the audio, I say this is hole 10 or this is hole 1 or whatever, because that helps me when I'm editing. I cut it out when I edit, but at least I know at that point, like, all right, this is hole 1. Now it's up to you if you want to make notes like this, for example, you can make little markers and say like hole 13, you know, done. So now, and you have a bunch of these little markers in your footage. So when you go and edit them, you already know what scoreboard to add. So for example, let's say this is hole 13, first shot. So what I do is I just click it and bring it over right here. Now it's right away gonna populate on the front of the video. Don't worry about that right now. Just leave it there. We're gonna edit the position on all of them in like 2 clicks, but we'll do that later. So don't worry about that right now. The whole goal for me now at this point is position the scoreboard where the shot is. So let's say right there, the shot's going, and then I pick up the tee and I'm walking out of the camera. Let's say I cut that. I want it only up to that point. And then the next shot, it goes away. And I like the cleanliness of it, where it's in one shot and then quickly changes to the next one. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So now we're going to hole 2 or shot 2, hole 13. So I need a hole 1 of 2, which is 13 second. So I'm gonna bring this over and cover it right there. Now it's not obviously, because hole 13, I'm putting for birdie, and this is an iron shot, so don't worry about that. But this is just the format for you to follow when you're editing your stuff. So whatever that shot is, bring it out here. You're basically just layering where you want the yardage to be at, and then where you want to cut it off. And that's fine for me, because I'm already walking away from the shot, and I'll leave it like that. So to give you an idea, this is what your timeline is gonna look like. You're gonna have your footage and whatever music or anything else you added, your text, and you're gonna have these big blocks right here that are gonna be over the footage. And you can see like, hey, wait a minute, it's right in the middle of the screen. Because you're gonna have so many, it's pointless for me, I found, to just do one at a time. So I just wait until I add them all to the footage. And then once they're all done, whether you're doing 9 holes, 3 holes, or 18, you're gonna have them all look like this, for example. Now these obviously don't go with the footage, I'm just showing you what it's gonna look like. So what I do is I go to the first clip at the very front, and I go to the right. Now, if you're in a different editing software, you should be familiar with what the transition and the positioning and the scaling of the items that you've clicked, like how to move that. So for me, for example, Final Cut, what I do is automatically scale it to 50%. And then I'll give you an idea, I'll position it. So I'll go up, and I think it's like 400. Yeah, it's like, here we go, let's do 420. And then to the right, I think it's like 6. Yeah, here we go. So then we do like 650. So then let's say I like that position, and this is however you do it. Now we're only making an edit to 1, but let's say I like this position on this one. What I do is I copy, Control C, and then I'll highlight 1, and then I'll highlight the last one. And I'll click, hold Shift, left click, and it highlights them all like that. And then at that point, I do Command Shift V, and it's gonna paste basically the attributes that I've saved from the previous copy. So all I care about is the position and scale. So I hit paste, and there you go. Now all of them should be in the top right. You just export that out and then upload onto YouTube. Now let's talk about vertical. So now you have your horizontal footage that you're already perfectly done for YouTube. Now you want to trim this down for vertical so you can upload it to Reels and TikTok and so forth. So how I do it in Final Cut Pro is I create another project and label it vertical. So basically it's like that. Let me delete this and I'll create it again for you. Once the YouTube version of it is done, and I already exported to my hard drive, and then while it's uploading to YouTube, because it takes a minute, sometimes 30-40 minute videos can take 15-20 minutes to upload to YouTube. While that's happening, I go back into my editing software, and now I copy each hole and paste it into another project, and that project format is already perfectly cut for vertical. Create a new project, and I'll go to video, I'll click vertical, and let me get the 1080, and I'll leave it whatever it's at. So I usually do 24 to 30 frames per second on my vertical footage. So let's say I want that, name the project. I usually do vert, just leave it at vert like that. Because as before I export it, I'll label them vert 1, vert 2. For me, it's like hole 1, hole 2. And it's easier to keep it organized in your hard drive and when you're ready to transfer it to your phone. So let's just put vert there. So now we have a perfectly vertical project that we can start editing in. And what I'll do is I'll go back to my main footage and I'll do, let's say we'll do this first 2 shots. And let's say these 2 shots, you know, is basically hole 13. So what I'll do is I'll only copy or highlight the hole that I want. And I'll do Command X. And what it does, it's like a cut. I cut that out, double click vertical and Command V. Now I'll paste it on the vertical. Now you can see the black bars are on the top and bottom because it's still on horizontal, you know, format, the footage. And we don't like that, obviously. So, and you can't even see the scoreboard. So here's a hint. Here's a little hack that I've learned. So a quick hack to get your horizontal footage onto vertical like this, to fit vertical, is just scale it up 320%. Just scale it up 320%. So I go to scale all, 320, boom, it perfectly fits. Perfectly fits. Now at this point, all I gotta do is move over where I want it to fit, like that, and I'm done. You can go back here and replay it if I want to. See I'm leaning a little bit to the right, so I'll scale it a little bit back, just kind of where it's centered, and leave it like that. Because, you know, Instagram has all that stuff down here and to the right over here, and so does TikTok. So it kind of, I mean, you want to make sure the main parts of the video don't cover that, because the viewer on Instagram and TikTok can't really see that stuff because it's blocking the way. So now I do that, and I'll do it every hole. So like this one obviously is the same thing. So, you know, you can do the copy paste we did earlier, or just hit the scale all 320, and then I'll start moving, shifting it over. So once that's done, let's say these 2 are done. I like the way they look. Now I got to bring the scoreboard, because the scoreboard right now is way off to the right. So right now I need to bring this. So what I do is go back to the first clip again, and then just reset all the parameters. So now they're back where they first were brought into the editing software, right in the middle. Now for verticals, I do 60% scale, not 50. And then that's it. Once it's in the center, I go to 60% scale, and then I'll just drag it up. I think it's to about 620. There you go. 620, and that's it. That is it. Simple as easy. Once you like that, once you like the way the first one is, it looks, you can always cut it out if you want to, or leave it in there. It's really up to you. But once you like it, just click it, Command C, and then highlight the next one, or whatever ones are out there, or whatever scoreboards that are there for this particular hole. Command Shift V, and do the same thing. Copy and paste the attributes, and now you're all set. And that's basically it. That's all it really takes. The longest part I've come to find out is obviously the editing, because you're editing a ton of footage. If you're doing 18 holes, you're talking 30, 40, 50, over an hour worth of footage. So that's the longest, which is why I do that first. That is my whole workflow of how I put videos together and how I add the shot tracers, which you haven't seen that one yet. Check out the links below, the Shottracer app that I've used, and basically how I put my golf videos together using a shot tracer. But this is initially how I use the scoreboard in my editing. The template here, it's highly customizable. Now, the only thing I don't know is if you need to purchase a membership to make edits. I personally use this a lot, so it behooves me to purchase the membership. And the cheapest version they have is the $120, I think, a year. I get no kickbacks from Canva. I love their platform. I've been using them for the last few years, and I highly recommend them, especially for individuals like y'all creating your own golf content. If y'all have any questions about any of this, hit in the comment section down below, because what I've learned about doing these kind of tutorials, you may have a question that you may think it's dumb and you don't want to ask, but believe me, there's a lot of y'all out there that are watching this that have the same question. So if y'all have a question about any of this that you want to have that I can answer for you, leave in the comment section down below, because I guarantee you, almost guarantee you, there's somebody else watching this right now that is thinking that same question. So if this video helped y'all, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll go into more detail about this kind of stuff in the future videos if you guys want. Also, if y'all want to continue to support the channel, I created a golf apparel brand a few years ago, and I've been absolutely stoked and pumped creating this journey of building a business around the golf space. And I'm offering 20% off to you guys. Use code RaulGolfs at checkout. Now, don't feel obligated to buy anything, you don't have to. But if you want to grab some quality golf gear and support the channel at the same time, it would definitely help out. Appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.